All right, we got the third Saturday in October, Alabama versus Tennessee. Huge matchup. ABC, 6:30. Alabama's fourth consecutive top 15 matchup that they're facing. Are they gonna win four in a row? That's the question at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Troy, what do you think about this? Tennessee's won 2 out of 3. Both were in Neyland Stadium.
You know,
Huge
I just
rivalry. Um, wasn't a huge rivalry for about 15 years, but over the past 3-4 years, it's gotten back to what it was in its heyday, and I like it. It's one of the best games of college football.
no doubt, man. That was what I was getting ready to say. Credit to Josh Heupel and everybody involved in Tennessee for bringing this rivalry back. I know it was real fun to just for 15 years just chalk this one up to an automatic dub, but no, this game is great for the sport. Two teams, fan bases that do not get along, do not like each other, and take a lot of pleasure and watching their team pummel the other one. So no, man, super pumped about it. Can't wait. Saturday night, Saban Field, Bryant-Denny Stadium, under the lights. In a payback game. Fool, man, I wish we were getting ready to kick it off now.
Gosh, I know.
There's just so much that goes into it. From the overarching landscape of the SEC and the playoff picture and the SEC championship picture. I mean, this is as high stakes as it gets. You can look at this almost as a de facto, you know, I don't want to say elimination game, but this is
Yeah.
Alabama wins this game, you're in a position to give yourself a lot, some cushion in that SEC title race. If you're Tennessee, you give Alabama a loss and just muddy that picture up
Yep.
even further. And then, depending on what happens at Georgia and Ole Miss, you could be sitting there with everybody, only one conference undefeated team at that point, right? In A&M. So a lot of implications, man, but I don't think we'd rather have it any other way.
Yeah. Just like last year, man. And Tennessee went on to go to the playoffs. I do think with Alabama's one loss being out of conference, I do think they're in a little bit of a better position if you do come up short. Obviously, on top of that, you just had three games versus top 15 teams that will probably continue to be ranked, depending on some results this weekend. But they currently are ranked. So Alabama's got probably the best resume in football, other than the tough loss at Florida State. But as far as wins go, it's far and beyond, in my opinion. And it can only get bolstered this weekend. But Tennessee, obviously, with the one conference loss, if you lose this game, you're not out of it. But with two losses to probably two teams that will be in that competition with you to get into the conference championship game, you're probably going to be it's probably going to be a tough ride to get in there. And at
Yeah.
that point, you just be hoping to win out and get in the playoff as an at large. But yeah, I mean, huge implications either way. Neither team is completely out of it, but you kind of take a driver's seat in the conference if you win this game.
It's a
And
big one,
yeah,
man.
you wouldn't have any other way with the rivalry.
No, and there's
Lights.
there's so much, like the on the field aspect of it. I can't wait. I think the matchups are so intriguing. You've got two elite teams, two elite coaching staffs, elite rosters. So, you know, when I look at it, at least on the field, everybody will just talk. The first thing is, well, the Alabama offense or the Alabama passing attack, which is one of the best in the nation against Tennessee's pass defense, which is, I think, 15th out of 16th or 14th out of 16th in the whole SEC. So naturally, we won't talk about that much. I want to focus more on like the Alabama defense versus Tennessee's offense. I mean, is it safe to say that this Tennessee offense? I mean, they're the number one offense in the SEC, right? And probably the best offense that you'll face the entire year with a quarterback that's
Absolutely.
outside of Ty Simpson playing the best in the SEC. So you're going to have your work cut out for you. We know Heupel is going to split. We're going to go wide splits. He's going to dial it up. He's one of the best play callers in the entire sport. They're going to run the ball, though. You
Mhm.
hear that's being said, like Heupel wants to run it first. He's going to make you commit to the box or make you guard the perimeter, and he's just going to make you pick your poison. And there's going to be guys running wide open in this game. I don't think that we need to think that it's going to be, you know, every throw is going to be contested. They're going to win some, we're going to lose some. But if Alabama can't hold up front in the run game, it's going to be a long night. And I do think Alabama's defense is starting to figure it out a little bit. Holding Ahmad Hardy to 52 yards, what they were able to do to Vanderbilt in the second half, only giving up what 7 to Georgia in the second half. So I think that they're starting to play with a little bit of confidence. They're starting to figure it out. Guys are getting comfortable. You're seeing guys push for spots. You're seeing playing time and starting snaps being one, which I think could come into a play, maybe a hint at something we're going to get at a little bit later. But
Yeah.
no, I think you've got an Alabama secondary that's elite versus a Tennessee passing attack and a Tennessee offense that's elite. So this is going to be good on that side of the ball. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, one of the crazy stats, Tennessee's, like you were saying, Tennessee's defense is atrocious, I think in the 130s in FBS,
Mhm.
but oddly enough, for kind of a weird stat, their sack percentage is maybe one or two in the nation.
Something's got to give, man. That tells me that
Yep.
by bringing all this pressure, they may not trust the back end, and they're just hoping to get home. And that's you live by that, die by that. So you're putting a
Exactly.
lot of stress on your defensive backs. And if you were to tell me, I know Jeremy Bernard gave the Tennessee defense bulletin board material, but if you're going to play man to man against Ryan Williams and Isaiah Horton and Jeremy Bernard and Lottie Brooks, I think you could see Ty go for 300 plus if they
Yeah,
don't. But if they get to him, if Alabama can't protect him, it could certainly throw a wrench into all of that.
and Ty's shown to have success when getting rushed. Last week, I think Mizzou had 4 sacks, and Ty was still able to get 200 yards, 74% completion percentage, and 3 touchdowns without a pick. Had the one turnover, obviously, but still had a pretty good day, regardless of the pressure. And I think you know Tennessee's DBs are not quite as good as Missouri's, more than likely. And even with the sack percentage, like you said, I think it just comes more into they're going to have to do that because they know they can't put let their guys just go out on a corner, go out on an island and beat those wide receivers consistently. So there's probably a little bit of that plays into it. I would still probably say Mizzou's front seven is probably a little bit better than Tennessee. So I mean, I think Alabama's going to have success. I think Tennessee's going to have some success as well. I think they're going to
They
be able to
will.
set up the run game and or run the football fairly decently, and I think they're going to be able to set up the pass game. I think this is going to be a
Yeah,
really high scoring game. In my opinion, it's going to come down to I think home field advantage is going to play an importance.
definitely.
And with that, I think it kind of what you're getting into is who's going to turn the football over, who's going to make those mistakes. I think Tennessee, even though they have had a lot of success throwing the football, go back to the Georgia game, there was a couple interceptions, a couple turnovers, and that's you know kind of like the Auburn comparison we were talking about. Uh, in their defense, they would probably like that to happen, and like Jackson Arnold take some shots, but it is true that whenever you take those deep balls and those other shots, that there's going to be a turnover here and there.
Yeah,
And I think that's going to be the point of the game is Tennessee going to do that? Are they going to put the pressure on and get to the quarterback? And is Ty going to throw an interception uh, that he's only done once this year? Or is Alabama's defense going to bend but don't break and make those stops? Uh,
what what you'll see, I don't know if you agree, but the past 2 games, opening drives on defense for us. I mean, Vanderbilt, Missouri's feet didn't hit the wall, didn't hit the ground. I, I, I trust Josh Heupel to put together an opening script that's going to be a masterclass. So I would anticipate them having some success on that first drive. So, this team's shown that they tend to not let it rattle them. At least they haven't the past few weeks. So you need to
yeah,
be prepared for that. But that doesn't have to be the way you can think about it. Think about, you're not come out firing. Like, don't give them the opportunity to get momentum. Quick three and out, sack, it doesn't have to be that way. So whatever Kane Wommack and the defense have in store, I think you're going to see maybe a few things that maybe we haven't seen, getting a little bit more exotic just to throw them off, because Aguilar's the same way as Ty. If you can't get to him and you just let him sit back there with Matthews and Brazell and Staley and Deshaun Bishop, their running back, looks like he's going to play, which, I mean, he's a beast. So
yeah, and
get
he
ready,
I was
man.
going to say he had 146 yards of a touchdown last week.
Beast. He left that game early with a leg, but he's listed as probable. I'm assuming he will go, and he's a handful. So I mean, they're a very talented team, good offensive line. Heupel's a great coach. It's going to be they're gonna, like you said, we're gonna win some, they're gonna win some, but who makes the critical mistakes in the second half? And I'd like to think that with home field, Alabama eventually can can kind of create the separation, whether a big sack, whether a turnover, whether a big shot play on offense to make it a two-score game can kind of deflate him a little bit. But no, I'm with you. I expect points. I don't see a slugfest. Both of these offenses um, want to score. I mean, so one of the things that intrigues me is how does Tennessee on offense attack Alabama? Do they want to get in a tempo shootout where it's just shot for shot and do they want to give Alabama extra possessions? Does Alabama want to give Tennessee extra possessions? Alabama has shown that if you want to play deep zone, and prevent the big play and let Alabama nickel and dime you down the field, Grubb and DeBoer and Ty can execute that and dominate time of possession. They've been able to show that they can win multiple ways. Jam Miller appears to be playing, which is a little bit surprising. He hasn't suited up. He's just listed as probable, but I think it's just so fascinating to see how this one's going to play out. You got two elite coaching staffs here. Can't wait to see the chess match.
Yeah, man. Who who do you have as your difference makers for the Tide in this
I
game? Defense
I
off.
have one on offense and one on defense, and both true freshmen who I think have earned the right to never leave the field. I think on offense, I've got to go with Latsier Brooks. I mean, every game it feels like Lottie Brooks makes a big play, and in a game like this, you know what Ryan and Germ and Horton are about. But I just got a feeling that Lottie Brooks is going to find his way into the end zone in a critical moment in this game. So give me true freshman Latsier Brooks as my offense kind of under the radar X factor in this game.
Nice. For my offense, I'm gonna say Kevin Riley.
I love
I
that.
think Jam, like you said, he's probably gonna be a go for this game, but even then, I think it might be a little more of a decoy, and I think we're gonna try to get the football to Kevin Riley, uh, not just running, but also maybe the screen game.
Some
And
screens.
I think he might be a
Slow that
big,
pass rush down.
yeah, I think he might be a big difference in this game, and really show that he's worth that number two spot. What you got
I
on?
love that pick. I love
Yeah,
that
man.
Kevin Riley pick. On defense, um, I'm going to go with another true freshman who I think has earned his right to never leave the field, and that's Dijon Lee. And I say that with the caveat that we all know he's a true freshman. Josh Heupel and Joey Aguilar damn sure know he's a true freshman too. And if he's out there, they're going to put him in some tough situations. But super talented kid is pushing Damani Jackson to play. If you're getting on the field this late in the season without injuries, you can play. And I just think that with his size, he's unique at 6'4". You don't see a lot of corners that are 6'4". He's very physical. If you watch him at the line of scrimmage, this is a game where your corners are going to have to tackle in space on the screens. I think Dijon Lee is going to make a big play in this game. So give me another freshman, number 5, Dijon Lee.
Nice. Conversely, kind of a two-pointer. I think in that same cornerback room, I think Damani Jackson, talking about him, I think he's, kind of getting some heat. I think he's going to step up this week, and I think he's going to have a big game. But I think my difference maker is going to be LT Overton. I think he's kind of shown he's made some kind of improvement over the past few weeks with the pressure and tackles for loss, and I think he's going to make some disruptive plays.
He's close to like a game wrecking game. He's
Yeah,
he's he's very
he's
close to takeover mode.
yeah,
I love those picks, man. It's going to be all hands on deck effort. I'm also
yeah,
with Damani and Dijon Lee. You're going to need them both because they're both going to have to play a lot. So I hope they both have good games. Nothing would make the Alabama fan base happier than Damani Jackson to have a big play in this game. And
100%.
then for me, I'm very curious to see what the right side of the offensive line looks like. It looks like centered left is pretty solidified. They still rotate on that right side. I wonder if Jane Roberts is healthy enough to move himself back in. I mean, Jane Roberts is a 2-year starter, so you'd like to think maybe he can get his way back into the lineup, and then maybe you bring another true freshman in, Michael Carroll, a 5-star, to play right tackle. He's still battling with Formby, but either way, these pass rushers are going to win some. They're going to beat Proctor a few times. They're going to beat this. Just you don't lead the SEC in sacks, by accident. So, but you're going to Alabama's tackles will have to hold up, and that your Kevin Riley, if he's in the game, he's going to have to chip. So, It's going to be, you know, everybody on this field on both sides of the ball is going to have their hands full, I imagine.
Yeah, man. Man, it's gonna be a great atmosphere. Gosh, I'd love to be there. Everybody's gonna have their cigars ready. What what is your final prediction for this game?
You know, the line is Alabama. It's fluctuated from 9.5 to 7.5. I like the Tide here by 10. I've taken Alabama 38-28. That would be holding Tennessee, I think, to their season low of points. But the home field, the crowd, Alabama's defense, I think figuring it out. The LT Overton and the boys up front, I think are going to get Joey Aguilar just a little uncomfortable enough to where we force him into a turnover or two. And the Alabama offense puts up 38. I think you're going to see them busted open in the second half, and then in the you're going to get into time. You're going to get into time of possession late in the game, and Alabama will be able to run this thing out and win by 10. Give me the Tide 38 and the Vols 28.
I'm gonna have the Tide by 10 as well. It's gonna be a little bit higher scoring. I've got Alabama 41, Tennessee 31. I think it's gonna be a high
41-31.
scoring game. Um I think the scoring will pick up a little bit later, and you'll kind of have a little bit of a back and forth. I think Alabama's going to mostly control the game, but Tennessee's going to be in it throughout.
That's
And
how I feel.
yeah, and I think there's going to be a couple scores late to kind of boost up the score a little bit. But yeah, I got 41-31.
I'm taking the Tide 38-28. And one thing I always tell you this before every game, we haven't talked about special teams. I don't think Alabama has been an elite unit on special teams. A punt, flipping the field in a game like this, 28-yard punts like we had against Missouri. Blake Dowd, I hope the punting unit, does their jobs in Talty. I know he gets a lot of grief, but we have to have a confident Connor Talty kicking field goals. Points will be a premium in this game. If you can't punch it in the end zone, 3 can be huge. So,
Yep,
special teams, special teams, special teams.
absolutely, man.
Well, hey man, this has been fun. 10 points for both of us. It looks like we're pretty in line. So we'll see what happens. As much as we may, maybe it doesn't go the way we're thinking, and either Tennessee wins or maybe the Tide handles business by 17. I think I know which one I would prefer, but for
Yep,
now, give me 10. Give me the Tide by 10.
roll Tide, baby.
Roll Tide, man. Always
Yeah,
a
but
pleasure.
guys, let us know your predictions in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Share the news.
Do what he said. Talk to y'all later.
Peace.